Recently, I decided to go through my old baseball cards and see if there was anything valuable in them. They were broken down by team with these little handmade cards to organize them and let me know where they were. And they're all in pretty good shape. And I do have some that are worth a little bit of money, but when you say that, it really depends on the condition. And by a little bit of money, you might mean $5 or $10, but there might be some that might be worth something further down the line. I also have some cards still in a cigar box, which I think is funny. And of course, when I opened up the box, it brought back a wave of nostalgia and memories. I was a big fan of the Mets when I was a kid. I'm still a big fan of the Mets, even though I live in Chicago, and most partial to these cards. These aren't necessarily well-known names to a lot of people, but Mets fans certainly know who Jerry Koosman was. One of the things I started thinking about when I pulled the cards out was we used to play this game where we flipped baseball cards. We would, pick a card from our opponent's stack that we would want to play for, right? And there would be some bartering back and forth about what cards would be acceptable or not, right? Because you had to make sure you were playing for cards of equal value. And then you would call heads or tails. Heads would be the face of the card and tails is the back of the card. And then you would flip them. And if they both matched heads or both matched tails, the person who called that would win. In this instance here, my son Charlie in the red shirt, he won that hand. He got 2 reds. He got an Andre Dawson, which is awesome. Flipping cards got me thinking about my grandfather, Glenn Thorp. We called him Pop-Pop. I was very close with my grandfather all through his life. We lived in the same home with him. And, it was wonderful living in a house with grandparents. And him and Nanny, Pop-Pop and Nanny, were caregivers to us. And I loved him dearly all through my childhood. When I came home to visit when I was in college and eventually in film school, I did take a lot of pictures of him and with him, and I made a short little film about him and his dog Ruby. The cards got me thinking about Pop-Pop because we played that flipping game in grade school, and I started at number 1 school, and Pop-Pop was the custodian of that school. So everybody knew Glenn, and this is a picture of him. These are pictures of him in front of number 1 school. Unfortunately, they closed the school, they consolidated, and they tore down that beautiful building. Pop-Pop loved Nanny, and when she got sick in her 50s, Pop-Pop took such great care of her. They were a beautiful couple. And Pop-Pop was a wonderful, loving man with his family, with his grandchildren, with his son and daughter, son Ronnie, and my mother Darlene. I was lucky to get this footage from my Uncle Ronnie of his family going on a road trip to California. They went to the Grand Canyon, and they went to Hollywood and to Disneyland, and they visited family in Southern California. And this is the whole Thorp clan. So it's Nanny and Pop-Pop, Glenn and Audrey, those were their names, my mother Darlene, her brother Glenn, and her brother Ronnie. Unfortunately, her brother Glenn is no longer with us. Nanny and Pop-Pop are no longer with us. You can really see what a great father Pop-Pop was to his kids, and how engaged he was with them. I love the footage of him in the rides at Disneyland and playing with the kids in the pool. It's mostly with his son Ronnie, and my mother is quite beautiful in these videos. Still is today. So this is a story about my baseball cards and flipping cards in grade school and my grandfather Pop-Pop Thorp.